This is Eric Fishman with EHR TV, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with David LaRoe, Chief Operating Officer of Medicomp. And David, you've been with the company many, many years, 15, 16 years?
I've been with the company since 1995.
And that's half of its 33-year history.
Yes.
And Medicomp obviously does quite a number of things. In a couple of moments we'll be speaking about your most recent offering, which is Quip, and it really sounds very exciting, but tell us a little bit about Medicomp.
Well, Medicomp was founded by Peter Golter in 1978 to enable computer systems to provide relevant information to clinicians at the point of care for any situation, without having to search for it, without having to look it up, just to present through the medicine engine what was relevant given what the physician said they wanted to do at that point.
And so I was going to ask, what is the relationship between Medicomp and the medicine engine itself?
Medicomp's primary achievement is the medicine engine. That's our core intellectual property. Other things like Quip, our newest product, are meant to make it more easily integrated with other EMR systems.
Understand, and the medicine engine, that is being used by a number of different electronic health record companies, both in this exhibit hall as well as others at MGMA. But you've just recently released the SDK, the software development kit for Quip, and is now being used in the Med 3000 Integrate file.
Yes, Med 3000 is here in booth 1109, and we're excited that they're our initial launch partner for Quip, which is a documentation tool, web, cloud-based, based on the medicine engine, but much more flexible and customizable by physicians than anything else we've ever had or we've ever seen on the market.
And so is it customizable by the individual physicians who have implemented Med 3000, or is it customizable by the individual electronic health record companies that have integrated it?
That's where you open up a can of worms. It is customizable by the individual physicians, but in an enterprise situation, there's a heavy load if you let individual docs customize as they will. So it provides the tool to do that, but it's typically done under enterprise guidance so that they achieve their goals as an enterprise, yet accommodate the individual needs of the physicians.
And I understand that Quip is, if you will, agnostic with respect to input methodology. You could be using a keyboard, speech recognition, touchpad. Tell me how many different methods you're seeing physicians actually use it.
Well, we've seen physicians use it with speech. We've seen physicians use it on tablets. We've seen it on mobile devices. We've even seen it used with the old ink pen scanners and with the new digital scanners, pens from Scantron, and those sorts of things.
And just to put a flavor on it as to what the functionality, and I'm not wishing this on myself, but if I were to go to a physician's office and I said I had some chest pain and I had some left arm pain, as the physician were entering that data into their record, at this point in time Med 3000 is your hope that it will be others, the system would, if you will, prompt the physician with respect to other relevant questions with respect to all of the other information that is in the patient's chart at that point in time?
Absolutely. That's a patented process we call intelligent prompting, which is meant to present the relevant information to the physician depending on what they say they're concerned about at that particular moment.
And does it go back to the entire historical record, or is it only with respect to the information that is being presented in that specific visit?
If they elect in their custom settings to have it include historical information, it can do that.
That's very impressive.
Thank you.
How is it being received so far?
It's being received, Jay Anders, the Chief Medical Officer of Med 3000, told me, hey Dave, get ready to strap it on. It's going to be an exciting ride.
That's exciting. It's exciting. If you don't mind now, I'm going to play a little game. I call it the acronym game. I'm going to say an acronym, and maybe you can just tell me first thing that comes to your mind and what you think about it, how it may affect your company and the industry in general.
Okay.
So we've been talking about input devices. Let's talk about NLP or NLU. Okay,
natural language processing or natural language understanding are typically viewed by most people to be the same thing. They're not. Natural language processing is turning speech into text and getting some meaning out of it. Natural language understanding is actually understanding the clinical implications of what's being translated from sound to text to actual clinical data. We're excited about that because given that, you can feed that to our clinical data engine and we can provide intelligent filtering of the rest of the record or whatever the physician says, these are the important things I want to focus on, and the medicine prompting engine can accommodate that.
It's nice to hear somebody understand the difference with respect to NLP and NLU, and the understanding is obviously there. You're not merely processing. How do you expect that entire industry to change quip over the next few years?
We would like to see, and we're talking to some of the speech recognition vendors about it, to actually use medicine with the quip interface as the target of natural language and what some people call clinical language understanding. They're getting more specific. So given that, we want to take and dynamically find the medicine concepts, which are then mapped to all the reference standards, so the physicians can use any input method, including speech, they want, and still meet all the data requirements they do for HIEs, meaningful use, ICOs, et cetera.
Very good. Let's go to another acronym, PHIE.
That's related to security, and if the information is there, we make it easier to get the information there, but we don't really address security issues because we're not the EMR. We're the acquisition engine for the data itself.
So the PHI, and some people call it protected health information, may also be, is not particularly...
Yeah, luckily we get to focus on clinical users and clinical use, and people like the vendors in the hall have to worry about security.
Okay, now let's go to something you probably know a lot about, CDS.
Okay, clinical decision support. Clinical decision support means to us giving the clinical information to the physician that they need to do their job. And that job may be documentation, that job may be treatment, that job may be coordination of care with somebody in the ACO world. So clinical decision support for us doesn't mean making clinical decisions, it means actually supporting clinical decisions, which we do by providing the relevant information out of the mountains of data that the HIEs are about to send to physicians.
You read my mind, HIE is going to be one of them. Let's skip it. Let's go to ICD-10.
ICD-10, International Classification of Diseases, Syndromes, and Other Conditions, okay, such as, it's going to be ridiculous, the degree of change that's going to be required in some of these systems to accommodate. It's a lot of codes. It's codes like drowning or submersion, from burning, from falling water skis, initial encounter. I mean, we don't expect anybody to have a coded concept for that, so it's going to be important for software to be intelligent enough to realize what additional information is needed to get the right code. We've just released our alpha version of ICD-10 coding. The beta goes out in February. The general availability release will be out next August.
May I ask how many people your company has on this project with respect to ICD-10?
We have about 5 people working on it, both internally and consultants. That doesn't sound like many perhaps, but because we already have coded data, 280,000 coded data elements, and an unbelievably powerful knowledge editing system, I think we have an advantage over most people who are going to have to deal with this issue.
I understand. This is fun. Let me ask you about HIE.
Okay, health information exchange. Sounds like a good thing, and it will be if the recipient of the data coming through these health information exchanges can deal with the tsunami of things that they're going to have to, because they're going to be expected to be able to deal with that data. They're going to need some intelligent filtering processes. That's what our prompting engine will provide. So we're excited to see it, and we're anxious to see how people actually deal with the flood of data that's about to be unleashed on them.
We've been talking about these interoperability issues for a long time. I think we're finally here.
We're finally here. We're finally here.
David, I thank you very much. It's been a pleasure chatting.
Okay.
This is Dr. Eric Fishman with EHR TV. We've been speaking with David Leroux, Chief Operating Officer of Medicomp. Thank you.